Jack Nicklaus is the greatest champion golf has ever seen. His voice shaped the modern tour. But at 86, that voice is fighting a force he never expected. This is a war over the soul of golf. The man opposite is Brian Rolapp, the former NFL executive who now runs the tour. Their battlefield was a private room at Muirfield Village. The doors closed. When they opened, one thing was clear. Jack refused to back down. What happens when a corporate executive tries to rewrite a game built on tradition and a legend stands in his way? That is what we will uncover. This is about survival. Survival of tournaments you grew up watching. Survival of players who grind every week. Survival of the idea that golf is different. The meeting happened weeks ago. The silence has been deafening. Here is my take. Jack is the only honest voice left. Do you agree? Hit subscribe. The Memorial Press Conference sent a shockwave, but the cameras only captured the warning. The real battle was behind closed doors. The reason Jack refused to back down goes much deeper than anyone expected. The battle lines were drawn at the memorial. Jack's words made headlines, but those headlines told half the story. Rolapp came from the NFL. He knows how to sell television. He knows how to squeeze value. But he never played competitive golf. That is the problem. Rolapp saw bloat. Too many tournaments, too many players. His solution? Compress the schedule to 6 months. Create an elite tier with massive purses. Let everything else wither. It sounds efficient, but efficiency is dangerous in golf. Golf was built to be fair. Fair enough that anyone with a dream could grind to the top. Rolapp's plan changes that. Under his vision, the tour becomes a closed shop. Only the top 70 get guaranteed access. Everyone else fights for scraps. The tour calls it Track 1 and Track 2. The players call it a death sentence. They know what happens when cameras stop showing up. Sponsors leave, fans lose interest, careers end. Not with a missed cut, with a phone call saying your tournament no longer exists. Jack saw it coming. He has lived this game for 70 years. He knows what happens when money becomes the only thing that matters. The tournaments that built the tour are the ones Rolapp is quietly erasing. The Cognizant Classic, the Rocket Mortgage. Jack was fighting for every journeyman who never made $1 million but showed up every week. He was fighting for fans who drive hours to watch a practice round. He was fighting for the soul of a sport that is different. Different because players police themselves. Different because honor matters. Different because you can start at the bottom. Rolapp's plan destroys that. It turns golf into the NFL. Jack refused to accept that. But the fight was never really about the schedule. It was about something that started 57 years ago, and that history would define everything. That history begins in 1968. The tour was controlled by the PGA of America. Players had almost no power. They were told when to play, where to play, and how much they would get. Jack was in his prime. He was winning everything. He had a choice: keep winning or use his power to fix things. He chose to fight. Alongside Palmer and Player, Jack threatened to walk away. They would start their own tour. It was a massive risk. The establishment hated it. Jack did not care. He knew the game needed to be fairer. In the end, the rebellion worked. The modern tour was born. Jack became not just the greatest champion. He became the architect of the entire system. That history matters. Jack is not just another voice. He is the founder. He built the house that Rolapp is now trying to remodel. Founders have authority. When Jack speaks, he speaks as someone who created the structure. He knows what it took to build it. He knows how fragile it is. He knows what happens when people with money start tearing things down. That is why Jack's opposition carries weight. It is not the complaint of an old man. It is the judgment of someone who has seen this play before. He watched the establishment try to crush the players in 1968. He fought back. He won. Now, 57 years later, he is watching a new generation of executives try the same thing, not with brute force, with spreadsheets. The result is the same. Power is being taken from players. Soul is being traded for ratings. Jack is the only person with both memory and authority to say, I have seen this before. I will not let it happen again. That is why the Muirfield meeting was significant. It was the founder confronting management. Jack was not about to let the future erase everything he fought to create. He walked into that room with a weapon that Rolapp could never match. And when the meeting began, Jack was ready. Now we arrive at the moment everyone has been waiting for. The private meeting at Muirfield Village. Rolapp walked in first. He brought data. He brought charts. He brought a business plan on paper. It was brilliant. In reality, it was about to hit a brick wall. That brick wall was Jack. Jack did not bring charts. He brought history, credibility, 6 decades of experience that no spreadsheet could match. He brought a question that Rolapp was not prepared to answer. The meeting started politely. That is how these things start. Everyone knew the truth. This was a confrontation. Jack did not waste time. He looked at Rolapp and asked the question that had been building. How many of the players on that wall would have had a career under your schedule? He pointed to his winners, names of champions, men who won because they were given opportunities, men who started as unknowns and became legends, men who would have been crushed by a system that only rewards the top 70. Rolapp tried to answer. He talked about efficiency. He talked about television windows. Jack was not interested. He had heard these arguments before. In 1968, the establishment used the same words. They were wrong then. Jack knew they were wrong now. He pressed harder. He told Rolapp that the compressed schedule would kill the middle class. Not slowly, immediately, the cognizant classic would be first to go, then dozens more. He asked Rolapp what would happen to players outside the top 70. Where would they play? How would they feed their families? Rolapp had no answer. The plan benefits the elite at everyone else's expense. Jack refused to accept that. He told Rolapp he would not endorse the plan. He would not give his blessing. He would not pretend that destroying the foundation was progress. Jack did not yell. He simply stated his position and refused to move. That is what refusing to back down looks like. An immovable wall of principle. Rolapp tried to persuade him. He tried to convince Jack that the tour needed to evolve. Jack had already evolved. He had changed his swing, his approach, his mindset. But adaptation is not surrender. Jack was not going to surrender the soul of the sport he helped build. When the meeting ended, Rolapp walked out without Jack's blessing. He got a brick wall. Jack had refused to back down. Everyone knew what that meant. And the consequences were about to unfold. Word of the meeting did not stay quiet. The golf world is small. When the story leaked, the locker room split in two. The top players stayed mostly silent. They benefit from the plan. The journeymen were not silent. They saw Jack as their protector. They knew that without Jack, their careers would be over. When smaller tournaments disappear, opportunities disappear. No cuts, no starts, no paychecks. Just a phone call saying your card is revoked. The fear is real. Players who have been on tour for a decade realize they might not have a job in 2 years, not because they are bad, because executives decided they are not profitable. That is the horror of Rolapp's plan. It cares about marketability. If you are not Tiger or Scotty, you are measured in fractions. Jack knew that. He has seen this before. The PGA tried the same thing in 1968. Jack fought them. He won. Now he is fighting again. The stakes are higher. The entire infrastructure is at risk. The tour's response has been silence. They cannot attack Jack. He is too respected. They hope the controversy will fade. They hope Jack will tire out. Jack does not tire out. He has been fighting for 70 years. The tour tried to sweep the Muirfield meeting under the rug, but you cannot sweep a golden bear under the rug. Jack's refusal has exposed a fracture that no corporate spin can heal, and the players are watching closely. What happens next depends on the players. The board has the votes to push the plan through, but votes do not guarantee loyalty. The players are divided. Some support the plan, others oppose it. The silent majority is watching. Jack has already made his choice. He stands with the journeymen, the players who need every event, the ones who will lose everything if the compressed schedule becomes reality. He has refused to back down, not because he is stubborn, because he is right. He knows that if you take away opportunities, you take away hope. Without hope, there is no future. Rolapp is not going away. He has the money. But money does not win every fight. Sometimes principle wins. Sometimes history wins. Sometimes a man who has given 70 years to a sport wins. That is Jack. The tour will try to convince us efficiency is more important than fairness. We know better. We have seen what happens when soul is sold for ratings. We have hated every second of it. Golf is different. It must stay different. That is what Jack is fighting for. Without him, there would be no one left to fight. Rolapp is not going anywhere, but neither is Jack. As long as Jack draws breath, he will remind us what golf is about. Not money, not ratings, the dream that any player can make it, the dream that any tournament can create a champion. That dream is fragile, but it is not dead. Jack is still standing, still fighting, still refusing to back down. As long as he stands, the soul of golf stands with him, and that is the most important thing of all. Jack taught us that golf is about honor, doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Rolapp's plan erases history. It erases opportunity. It erases the foundation that made the tour great. Jack understands that better than anyone. He built it. He will not watch it burn. The Muirfield meeting changed everything, not because Jack won a fight, because he reminded everyone what the fight is about, the soul of the sport. The executives thought they could push their plan through without resistance. They were wrong. Jack refused to back down. He drew a line in the sand. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Jack is not going anywhere. He will keep fighting. He will keep refusing to back down, because that is what legends do. They protect the game they love. They stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. Jack has given everything to golf. Now golf needs him more than ever, and he is answering the call. The tour is at a crossroads. One path leads to a corporate future, fewer tournaments, fewer opportunities, a closed shop for the elite. The other path leads back to tradition, to fairness, to the idea that anyone with a dream can make it. Jack has chosen his path. He has refused to compromise. He has refused to let the sport he loves be destroyed. Now the players must choose. The fans must choose. The tour must choose. The executives know Jack is right. They know the plan is flawed, but they are too proud to admit it. They will keep pushing, but Jack will keep pushing back. He cannot stop, because stopping would mean surrender. Jack does not surrender. That is why he is the greatest, not because of trophies, because of character, because of courage, because of refusal to back down. The meeting was just one battle. The war is far from over. Rolapp will push. Jack will resist. We will choose sides. Jack has made his choice. Now it is our turn. The players are watching. They know what is at stake. The top players stay quiet because they benefit. The rest stay quiet because they are afraid. But fear does not last forever. At some point, they will have to speak. Jack has given them an example. He has shown that one voice can make a difference. The tour's leadership hopes the controversy fades. They hope Jack gets tired, but Jack will not get tired. He has been fighting for 70 years. He will not stop now. The compressed schedule rewards the elite and punishes everyone else. Jack knew that from the beginning. That is why he spoke out. The executives think they can outlast him. They are wrong. Jack has outlasted everyone. He will outlast them too. The future is uncertain, but one thing is certain. Jack will be there fighting for what is right, and he will not back down. The fans are starting to pay attention. They see the tour trying to erase the tournaments they love. They see executives trying to turn golf into something it was never meant to be. They are angry. They are frustrated. They are looking for someone to lead them. Jack is that leader. He is the voice they trust. He is the man who will not back down. The fans know he is right. They know the compressed schedule is a mistake. They are speaking out. The silence is breaking. Jack is at the center. He always has been. He reminds us what golf is about. The dream that any player can make it. The dream that any tournament can create a champion. That dream is what Jack is fighting for. The future of golf depends on it. Jack has made his position clear. He opposes the compressed schedule. He opposes the destruction of middle-class tournaments. He opposes the corporate takeover, and he has refused to back down because he is right. He knows that if you take away opportunities, you take away hope. Without hope, there is no future. Rolapp is not going away. But money does not win every fight. Sometimes principle wins. Sometimes history wins. Sometimes a man who has given 70 years to a sport wins. That is Jack. The tour will try to make us believe efficiency is more important than fairness. We know better. Golf is different. It must stay different. That is what Jack is fighting for. Without him, there would be no one left to fight. Rolapp is not going anywhere, but neither is Jack. As long as Jack draws breath, he will remind us what golf is about. The dream that the game will always be bigger than the executives. That dream is fragile, but it is not dead. Jack is still standing, still fighting, still refusing to back down. As long as he stands, the soul of golf stands with him. Subscribe now. The future of professional golf hangs in the balance.